A few hours ago, I said I was going to try to stay off of social media until I meet with Officer Davis from Yuma Police Department tonight. I tried. I tried to stay off of social media until I meet with Officer Sergeant Davis of Yuma Police Department. I tried to social media. It obviously is very difficult for me because I'm fighting for mine and my children's lives. It's hard to put that on pause. It's difficult to put on pause fighting for mine and my children's lives. It's difficult for me to stay off of social media. Social media is my lifeline. Social media is my therapy. I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized by the city of Yuma, their residents, their military millionaire, white supremacy, human traffic residents. I'm traumatized by those who enable and profit off of crimes of white supremacy, human traffic. There are many government agencies out here that are infested with white supremacy, systemic oppression, systemic racism. My family is traumatized. We are fighting for our lives. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my children's lives. Our lives have been threatened. FBI agent 9914. I believe you could have given me your name when I called in my original report. You're assigned to this district where I reside, where me and my children reside. I don't know what your job description is. I have no idea what the FBI is supposed to do or not do. I assumed that y'all are to provide, serve, and protect the fucking community. I'm in a worse place today than I was when I called you and gave you my report of being victimized by white supremacy human traffic. I plan to meet with Sergeant Davis from Yuma Police Department tonight. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anything. I'm vulnerable. My children are vulnerable. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. My family has lacked safety, security, and stability for nearly 4 years in Yuma, Arizona. My children just graduated from middle school and high school. The city of Yuma's educational institutions have graduated my children, class of 2023. without hope for a future. I have been preparing my children mentally to abandon our fully furnished 3 bedroom, 2 bath apartment at La Posada, 1980 West 30th Street, apartment A103, Yuma, Arizona, 85364. I have been preparing my children mentally to abandon everything we own in order to escape this white supremacy human traffic community. I have no idea if Sergeant Davis with the Yuma Police Department is going to have any resources, recommendations, suggestions to assist my family. I have no clue. I called him so that I can submit a complaint against the mental health crisis facility that Adobe Wellness Wellcare referred me to, which is called Community Health Associates. I called Yuma Police because I would like to file that complaint against that company who has a history with Better Business Bureau as being very corrupt and a history of fraud and a history of damaging people's lives and putting people's lives at risk. That is a mental health facility of Yuma, Arizona. They represent every mental health facility that I have been exposed to in Yuma. The way they treated me represents the mental health facilities that I have been exposed to in Yuma. It's difficult to find quality mental health services in Yuma, Arizona. It's very difficult. They cater to drug addict mental health issues. I am not a drug addict. I don't have that history. I've tried to assimilate to this community and it has been impossible. My children and I have moments of happiness that are very short lived. My children graduated from the City of Yuma Educational Institutions class of 2023 without hope for a future. I reported to my children's pediatrician months ago. I reported to Yuma Regional Medical Center pediatricians months ago that the trauma inflicted on me and my children have traumatized us. The white supremacy human traffic community trauma inflicted on me and my children has traumatized us. And we are having a difficult time finding quality mental health services. We are the social services out here pretend to help, they don't help. I filed complaints against them and I expose them on social media, Facebook, their screenshots. Do your research before you judge me, before you judge my children. Please do your research. I have been journaling on social media for over 3 years. My experience being a victim of white supremacy human traffic in Yuma, Arizona, I have been journaling on public social media. Social media is my lifeline. Social media is my therapy. I have been preparing my children mentally to abandon this apartment with everything we own so that we can be able to escape this white supremacy human traffic community and go back to the Harvard University community where we came from on the East Coast. I think that's very sad. It is reminiscent of Hitler's regime in Nazi Germany. It is what me and my children have been experiencing, the mental torture by the white supremacy human traffic community of Yuma, Arizona, is reminiscent of Hitler's regime, Nazi Germany. My children and I have been preparing ourselves mentally to abandon everything we own in order to try to escape this white supremacy human traffic community. We're coming very close to that happening. This is a very sad situation. It's sad for everyone involved. Everyone. It's sad for everyone involved. I look at my children. I look at my children and I think of that movie, The Boy in a Striped Pajama. They have friends in Yuma, Arizona. I I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. I can't wait to get my children the fuck out of here. I can't wait. But I'm disabled, so I'm on a fixed income, so I don't have the funds to get up and go. So I have a GoFundMe. And so I have a GoFundMe, and my GoFundMe has not been generating income for me to get up and go. So I am depending on this community that has not been very kind to me and my children. I'm depending on Yuma, Arizona government that has treated me and my children poorly for nearly 4 years. My children and I traveled across country with a shared Penske truck that we shared with the human traffickers. And that Penske truck was full of gifts for Yuma, Arizona. We also traveled with a burgundy 1997 Chevy Suburban, Chevy Suburban with a U-Haul trailer attached, full of gifts for Yuma, Arizona. We had no idea. My children and I had no idea the hell we were entering. We had no clue. We were very gullible and naive. We were very gullible and naive. And those are characteristics that make you vulnerable to white supremacists, human traffickers. Being gullible and naive and disabled and a single mother, those are characteristics that make you easy prey to predators like white supremacy human traffickers. My children and I had a disadvantage from the very beginning. We My children and I had a disadvantage from the very beginning. We never had a fighting chance. We never had a fighting chance. We were targeted. We were groomed. We were lured. We were white supremacy human trafficked by military millionaires and a prominent Yuma, Arizona realtor. My children and I never had a fighting chance. We were targeted. We were groomed. We were lured by military millionaires and a Yuma, Arizona realtor. Yuma, Arizona profits directly or indirectly, they profit off of crimes committed against me and my children. I have been begging this community for assistance for nearly 4 years. I have faced resistance. I have faced retaliation. I have been sabotaged. Not just me, my children as well have faced resistance, retaliation, and sabotage. My children graduated from Yuma, Arizona Educational Institutions class of 2023 without hope for a future. I reported to Yuma Regional Medical Center pediatricians that I don't believe, I don't believe that my children will live to see 30 years old in Yuma, Arizona. When I look at my children, even on the day they graduated, even on the day they graduated from Yuma, Arizona's educational institutions, Crane Middle School, Kofa High School, when my children graduated, I look at them as if they don't have a fucking future. I reported to their pediatrician at Yuma Regional Medical Center and I documented and screenshotted on Facebook. I reported to their doctor, their pediatrician. I reported to Yuma Regional Medical Center doctors. I don't believe my children will live past 30 years old in Yuma, Arizona, because of the threats to our lives. White supremacy human traffic is very real. My children and I are victims of white supremacy human traffic. Yuma, Arizona is a white supremacy human traffic community. And I don't even believe that the FBI is giving my case any attention. Justice for Vaughn. Shanquella Robinson. It is very dangerous to be Black Lives Matter in a white supremacy human traffic community because the government agencies like social services, like mental health clinics, the medical field, the educational field, the public service field, when you reside in a white supremacy human traffic community, the government is infested. It's infested with white supremacy. It's infested with white supremacy. When you reside in a community of white supremacy, the government is infested. It's inevitable. That's that they I'm not going to keep harping on the same shit during this video cuz it's like I'm talking to a Trump wall. It's as if I'm talking to a modern day lynching Trump wall. It feels like what we are taught in school about Hitler's regime, Nazi Germany. That's what you might being a victim of white supremacy human traffic in Yuma, Arizona feels like what we learn about what everything we learned about Hitler's regime in Nazi Germany. That's what it feels like to be a victim of white supremacy human traffic in Yuma, Arizona. They lack quality resources. And that can mean the difference between life and death. When a white supremacy human traffic community lacks quality resources, that can mean the difference between life and death. Please do your research. Please do your research before you judge me and my children. Please do your research. My children are Yuma, Arizona's class of 2023. My children, my children are white supremacy human traffic victims. My children are my children are Yuma, Arizona's class 2023. And my children graduated from Yuma, Arizona's educational institutions without hope. My children are hopeless. I reported to Adobe Wellcare Wellness social worker and the company. I reported to them people. I reported to them that I have been hopeless in Yuma, Arizona for many years. And they gave me false hope and false promises. And the Yuma Police Department officer that transferred me to Sergeant Davis, I recorded my conversation with him. Do your research. When I tell these people how hopeless my family is, go review the conversation I had with that Yuma Police Department officer who I requested to transfer me to his supervisor, Sergeant Davis, because that officer is the epitome of the culture of Yuma and how they handle mental health crisis and how they deal with victims. They re-victimize us. They stigmatize us. They re-traumatize us. They dismiss us. I recorded my conversation with that Yuma Police Department officer. Do your research before you judge me and my children. Do your research. There's many moving parts. There's many moving parts. If you have a short attention span, if you don't have comprehension to decipher through complicated situations, you might as well forget your interest in what's going on here. You have to have you have to have an intellectual mind. You have to be educated enough to do your fucking research. That's the only way you're going to be able to see clearly. The devil is in the details. My children and I suffered a lot. And when we moved across country to Yuma, we came bearing gifts. We came when me and my children traveled across country to Yuma, we came with our hands full of gifts, and it looked like a Penske truck and a U-Haul trailer. And me and my children planned for several years. We planned, it was always my dream to move to the West Coast. It was always my dream. My children knew. We planned on being in a position in our lives to be able to move to the West Coast and give. Me and my children came here with our hands full of gifts for Yuma, Arizona. And Yuma, Arizona made us panhandle on their homeless streets with our hands out for pennies. My children's little hands, they were 10 and 14. Their hands were out like this, panhandling, begging for pennies, for food, shelter, and transportation. Nearly 4 years in Yuma, Arizona, my children and I are still with our hands out, begging. And we have many gifts. My children and I, my children and I have a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, fully furnished apartment. Full of gifts. Full of gifts for Yuma, Arizona. The same town that has traumatized us. The same town that has swindled and robbed us for nearly 4 years. We have an apartment full of gifts because we can't afford to rent a U-Haul truck to move back to the East Coast. So we have to gift our shit to Yuma, Arizona. And I'm going to speak for my children because they're still minors. We're happy to be able to give to the less fortunate. I need help, a lot of help. I need help. I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get my children the fuck out of here. We don't need money. We need a way to get the fuck out. We need somebody to, I don't know, help us figure out how to get quality resources that will be able to help us get the fuck out. I don't know if that looks like a bus pass. I don't know if that looks like a fucking airplane ticket. I don't know what the fuck it looks like. I have been trying to paint the picture. I have been trying to paint the picture in my mind as it looks like a fucking U-Haul truck. But that's out of the fucking question because my GoFundMe is not generating enough fucking money for that. So I don't know how the fuck this is going to happen, but we had to get the fuck out of here. This Yuma, Arizona is hopeless for Black Lives Matter. Yuma, Arizona is hopeless for victims of white supremacy human traffic. Yuma, Arizona is hopeless for victims of white supremacy human traffic. Yuma, Arizona is hopeless for victims of white supremacy human traffic. We need help to get out. We need help to escape. I did not move out here for this shit. So, if you can please consider giving me some fucking suggestions, recommendations. I don't fucking know. I'm disabled. I'm fucking slow. And I need help.